Bonjour! Bonjour!
No.
Time for bladder check. Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch The Legend of Korra Season 1, Episode 12. I just watched the episodes 10 and 11. If you want to see my reaction videos, go check the links. Go check the links, you know what? I'm not asking you the question, I'm telling you that if you didn't watch these videos, you have to watch them. It can explain to you why I'm exhausted. I think that it's a good word for that right now. I'm already exhausted. The two last episodes. The episode 10 made me cry so much, made me sad so much. The fact that they took Lin bending away like that, it hurts me still now. I explained to you why during the intro of the last episode. You know what taking away someone bending is representing to me, like separating a human from his or her demon into his dark materials. For me, taking someone's bending away, it's the same. You are taking a part of that person, and a real part, you know, like something which is defining who that person is and all. It's awful. You are leaving that person not intact, you know. She's not fully him or herself. I'm not sure that I'm clear with that, but it's shocking me to do that. So for Lin to suffer that, Lin, who was such an amazing metal bender and who is such a badass, such an hero, who has strong principles, who is so strong, I hope and I think, I'm sure that it's not because of that she's gonna stop fighting, that you're not gonna have news about her. She's gonna have even more rage after what you did to her. It really broke my heart. After that, we discovered Zuko's grandkid, General Iroh. His name is Iroh. That's already a reason to cry. Zuko, you know, is related to Zuko. It's his grandkid. Another reason to cry. It was the army, you know, he followed Iroh, Zuko's steps and all, and he's responsible of the United Forces. Another reason to cry. He's General Iroh. Can you honor my Iroh, the one that I know and love so much, even more than that, than by being named like that and by doing that into your life? I don't think so. I was so protective with him during the last episode when he was attacked. I cried for that guy, even if I don't know him. I never met him, but just because of all of that, I cried for him and I was so protective with him. That's gonna be insane. My relationship with him is named Iroh, is related to Zuko. My love for that character is gonna be insane. I cried also when Tenzin was forced to leave with his family because they are the last airbenders, so nothing can happen to them. If something is happening to them, we don't have any airbender left. I didn't think of that at all, so it broke my heart when I understood that. And during the last episode, we finally understood why Amon did all of that. He is related to Yakon. I said it not during the review of the episode 9, I said during that review that the writers were clever because they put flashbacks with Amon scenes, so we thought that it was Amon who was related to Yakon when in fact it was Tarlok. But I said during the intro of the episode 10, these writers are clever, so I don't think that they would play with the viewers with that. I think that maybe still Ammon is related to Yakon in a way. I was right. He is his son. And I was right. Ammon is a bender. And I was right. I didn't put it on the YouTube version. I was forced to cut that part, but you saw it on Patreon, so you have a proof of it. I said that he was surely a waterbender, you know, to resist to the blood bending and all. I said it, and the fact that he was a bender, I'm saying it since a long time. So I was right about all of that, but I was really wrong about the plan, you know, that Ammon had in mind. I thought that making that war, it was one of the steps of his big plan and all, that maybe his big plan was related to the Avatar, something like that. But no, it was really to create that war, to take Republic City, to have this revenge for his father, because his father brainwashed Ammon and Tarlok since they were kids. He taught them bloodbending since they were kids. It's shocking me so much to teach that to anyone, but to kids, it's shocking me. He brainwashed them, you know, about having his revenge and all. Ammon fully embraced bloodbending, fully embraced, you know, I think that he has a conflicted relationship with his bending and all, because for him, the most powerful person was not his father, but was the Avatar, because he took his father's bending away. There is something right there with bending. He has a conflicted relationship with bending, which can explain the fact that he wanted that war between benders and unbenders, but also that at the end he wants to take away everyone's bending away, because he wants to be the more powerful. Not because he's going to be the only one with bending at the end, but because he's going to be the one who can take away bending from people. It's a question of revenge, doing what his father wanted. Even if maybe, you know, when he left, he said to his father, you want to have your revenge through us, that's so wrong and all. Maybe you think that, but if you really think about what you're doing what your father wanted. Maybe you're conflicted also about that, about your relationship with your father. I really think so, Ammon. But his story is so sad, and Tarlok also, you know, Tarlok tried to not embrace what his father wanted, bloodbending, having all of this revenge and all, but at the end, when his brother left, his brother was representing really his father's hope. His father gave up, and Tarlok finally embraced all of what his father wanted, to honor him in a way, because he had only that in his life. It's so sad. Both of them, you know, they lived the same stuff, but not in the same way. But both of them, it's sad. And they were used, they were brainwashed, they are accomplishing what their father wanted. One on purpose, one thinking that he's doing something else, something more for himself, but at the end he's still doing what his father wanted. But he's still doing it his own way, you know. Because for him, he wants to be the more powerful by taking away everyone's bending. Really a conflicted relationship with bending, with his father. It has to be awful, you know, to be like that, to live all of that. I really understand more this character now. It was so great to learn all of that and to create that story, the writers creating that story, that background, you know, for these two, this family. You know how much I love brother and sister relationship. You know how much I love Bolin and Mako's relationship. So you can imagine that it's really speaking to me, that brother relationship between Tarlok and Ammon. It's really, yes, speaking to me. I'm really close to my sister, I'm really close to my brother. I'm almost, you know, like that with my brother, like I'm almost like his second mother. I love my brother so much. I'm overprotective with him and all. So that's why into shows and movies, brother and sister relationships, they are talking to me really hard, really into my heart. Yes, I can understand right there what happened. So it's the final episode. They're gonna intervene during the rally to tell the truth about the fact that Amon is lying and is a bender, is a waterbender. I'm saying it since a long time. To win against Amon, it's gonna be by fighting him, but also by convincing people. It can be a way to tell the truth, but still, guys, you have to understand that there is a real issue between benders and non-benders. That Amon, for convincing people so easily, what he's saying, it's based on true facts. I really hope that at the end someone is gonna say something about that, you know, like, okay, we're gonna do things for non-benders now. I really hope so. But it can be a good way, you know, to tell the truth. Is it gonna be enough? I don't think so. Again, I think that you need both of these things, fighting him and convincing people. Each time I'm saying that, when I'm saying convincing people, for me it's by words, you know, it's the force of the words, it's fighting with words, it's the word convincing. That's gonna be an interesting episode. Am I gonna cry? Surely. I prefer to warn you, I prefer to warn myself, you know. We're on the same page. Right there, I'm gonna cry. Oh! It didn't record, you know, my backup, I hope. Normally the sound worked. I hope that it worked because I didn't put my backup. I'm always putting, you know, a backup for the sound in case of it's not working. I can check, you know, that the picture, the image is working because I'm seeing it, but the sound I can't predict, so I'm always putting a backup. For the intro I didn't put it. I'm gonna stop this intro right now, I'm gonna watch the episode. If you want to have my Patreon, on which we'll have the episodes earlier, 2 weeks sooner, and with the extended or the full reaction part. Let's say that for the episode 9, 10 and 11 I put the full reaction part, so normally for this episode 12, the final one of this season 1, when this show was supposed to be made only for 1 season and all, normally for this episode I'm gonna put the full reaction part also. Check the description, I told you on the description if I put the full or the extended reaction part. Or go check the schedule, you know, that I'm posting each Monday on YouTube, Patreon and Twitter. Let's go for this episode 12, the end of this season 1. Okay, let's go. I'm excited, but I know that I can cry really easily. You know, I'm on bus teams. Oh, I need to drink also. Talking like that, crying like that, I need to drink. And bring balance to the world. Live your life. I prefer that, you're gonna be safe right there. You put a mask on Hank out there.
A firebender struck down my entire family and left me scarred.
That's a lie, Amon. Or should I call you Noatok?
Aha!
Your family wasn't killed by a firebender. His father was Yakon.
You should have said that after proving that he's a waterbender.
Show you the truth.
You made yourself a scar? Oh no, 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 Celeste Benders. Thank you, Naga. How did you pass?
We have to save them.
You have.
The Avatar needs to be reminded of the power I possess.
See, it's about himself. How powerful he is. Save them.
Let's go get your mother and the baby.
Milo. Amon, you're so powerful, you're so strong. Your story is so sad. Why can't you be like Tylock, you know, regretting your actions? I believe in second chance, I can give you one, you know. You're not! Avatar State,
would destroy you.
No, can't be. You're so good. You're so crazy. What? No. I'm glad he had a mask, in fact.
You are aiding the very people who took your mother away.
You don't feel love for Mom anymore. You're too full of hatred.
You're not gonna do that to your daughter.
I now see there's no chance to save you.
Excuse me?
Mr. Sorrow, you are a horrible father.
She hesitated, he didn't.
Everything the Avatar said is true, isn't it? I just saw you, Bloodbender. You traitor! I dedicated my life to you. You served me well, Lieutenant.
Ah, cool. It can be. Wow, you the past lives, the spirit.
I'm impressed.
You left her. Not my Cora. Cora. And she used air bending. I know, my dear. You're the Avatar, you're the fucking Avatar. You're gonna be forced to use water bending. Wait for it. It was makeup. It was fucking makeup. And it can... It looks great. I'm sorry, I had to say it, okay? He escaped. Don't do that to me. Brothers' relationship.
I'm sorry for what I had to do to you. Our
You
father set us
already-
on this path. Fate caused us to collide. We have a second chance. We can start over together. Please.
You think so for real?
Left in the world. You saved Republic City.
But Amon got away.
Show me Uncle Boomy.
Great. The two of us together again. There's nothing we can't do. Yes, Nortok. I had almost forgotten the sound of my own name. It will be just like the good old days.
Fuck you, like. Tarlok didn't believe that they can have a second chance. His father tried it and couldn't do it, and he didn't believe that him and or his brother could do it. But Amon didn't believe into it because, you know, he was crying saying that. It's so sad.
Cora can still airbend, but her connection to the other elements has been severed.
All of the other ones? No, you're gonna find teacher, you're gonna find a way to have them back, one by one. Like Aang did.
But I just want you to know, I'm here for you.
No, I mean go away. I'm not the Avatar anymore. You don't need to do me any favors.
You don't think so, you never thought so, stop.
Avatar or not, I love you, Cora.
I can't.
Cora!
Don't blame her, she just lost everything that was making her herself, you know? All purpose in life.
We need to be patient with her.
Ah!
It will take time.
It's gonna be okay, my dear, I swear. Oh, I'm sorry, I was afraid of a past life, you know, coming like that suddenly. It's the case, it's Ang.
No, Tenzin.
But you called me here.
Hey.
You have finally connected with your spiritual self. When we hit our lowest point, we are open to the greatest change.
You are. Can you? Thank you.
I love you too.
What? Can you? Can you? To all of them? You're gonna do that to all of them? That guy is happy.
I am so proud of you, Avatar Korra.
Oh! I didn't pay attention to it. You're making sound, my book? It's too much for you, 3 episodes on a day? Yes, I'm doing things with my hair to gain some time. I can't talk about everything that happened during this episode. So many things happened. Full reaction part on Patreon. Don't even ask me. Full reaction part. Just they said the truth about Amon. I didn't think that it was gonna happen like that. I thought that you were gonna fight against him to make him use bloodbending or waterbending to prove that he was a liar about being a bender, and then to tell the truth about who he was related to Yakone and all. Because just saying his story just like that, based on what proof, Korra, how could you think that someone was gonna believe you? That scar, I really thought that it was a true one. I didn't think about makeup or stuff like that. I really thought that it was a true one, but because he made him himself, I mean, I think that the guy went crazy a little, you know, maybe he could have done it to himself, or made by someone else after, you know, leaving his village and all. Maybe it could have been possible, but no, it was makeup. The moment when they threatened to take away the bending of Tenzin and his kids, airbenders, the last airbenders, you saw me during the first episode of this season how emotional I was just to think that we had airbenders now, air people, that they were all there and all. Just to have that thought, I had to make a break because it was making me so emotional. So to erase airbending for good, I couldn't deal with that. Amon used bloodbending on Korra and Mako. He took away the bending of Korra. All of the bending except for air. I think that it's because of Aang, you know, Aang was helping her during that moment. There was something right there. You know, when he arrived at the end, Aang, I'm gonna come back to that, he said something like, you called me back, you needed me, and it's when you are at your lowest point, you know, that you can call your past lives, that we can help you, we can be there for you. You gave her paintings. Thank you for that, Hank. And she can give people their painting away because Hank showed her that. You know what it means? Hank, in his life and in his death, is the most powerful because he's the one who learned how to take bending away and who learned how to give someone his or her bending. She did it right there for Lynn. My badass queen is gonna come back to be an amazing metal bender to honor her mom, and she's gonna give it back to everyone who had it out, you know? That's so great. And coming like that, I did not expect it at all. I mean, when I saw that a monk was coming, I was like, that's it, that. And because of the tear just before that, the music, how they filmed the tear, I know that it was important. The moment was important, so I was like, okay, past lives. And it was Roku, you know, for Ang right there. It was gonna be Ang for Korra. All of the past lives were there, all of them, to help Korra. Mako and Korra confessed their feelings for each other. I ship them, so I'm glad. Maybe now they're gonna do things right. They're gonna treat Asami right. It was not the case, really. Until the end, it was not the case. Mako, you dealt with that so badly. I'm mad at you a little for that. And I'm on Asami's side for everything. Like, I respect the girl so much for how she handled the situation. It was so classy, you know, for her to, you know, to act like that and all. Asami, you have my respect for that. And I said it, I wouldn't have blamed you if you would have, you know, switched into her father's side because of her story with her mother and all, because she saw how benders and non-benders, you know, were acting against each other and she was against it because her father was on the other side, because of all of them, her friends, the persons who were supposed to help her, to support her, to be there for her, betraying her, lying to her. I would have understood really if she would have switched, but she didn't because it's against her principles and all, and I respect that even more. I respect her even more for that. And at the end, her battle, you know, her combat with her father, she still hesitated, you know, to catch her father. She couldn't do it. Her father didn't hesitate, really, the worst father on earth. So she captured him at the end. You deserve the world, Asami. I hope that you're gonna have a beautiful journey during the next seasons. I really want to see more about you. You know how to fight. You're a fucking good pilot. You are clever. You thought, you know, about that thing, taking that thing and all to fight. You're brave. You're classy. You are strong. You know, she has a strong character. I love that girl, for sure. Go Asami. But yes, I ship Korra and Mako. I can't help myself with that. They are really responding, you know, to my teenagers' beliefs in what love is. It's not what I think right now. To have an healthy relationship, you have to do all of the contrary that they did. Okay? They were toxic. In fact, you know, they began that relationship in such a toxic way for themselves, for their couple, for the other ones around them. It was toxic. I really hope that into the next seasons you're gonna have an healthy relationship, because you began it such in a wrong way. With your brother, with Asami, with how you treated them, with how you treated each other, with how you were disrespectful. No. But I ship you. Again, you're talking too much to the teenager in me, you know, how I was when I was a teenager. And I think that it's good in a way that they wrote these characters like that and their relationship like that because they are teenagers, these characters. So I think that it's logical with their characters, and for the public also, the viewers who were watching them during that period of time, it was supposed to be, you know, the ones who watched Avatar The Last Airbender and watched after that The Legend of Korra. So teenagers, viewers who were teenagers, or maybe it was to seduce also new viewers who didn't watch Avatar The Last Airbender and please them by showing them teenagers who are acting like that. Do you understand what I mean? But see, I really see at the end that it was supposed to be only for one season, The Legend of Korra, because right there we closed everything. We closed all of the story. Asami with her father, Korra and Mako, Tarlok, Amon, I'm gonna come back to that. All of their story, you know, with Republic City and all. Even Tenzin with Pema, you know, being pregnant and all. We closed everything. And for Korra herself, as the avatar, you know, as a potential avatar's journey and all, she is at the end of her journey, almost. I mean, maybe she needs to masterize the avatar state because she just discovered the avatar state, but the rest of the bendings, she was trained already for water bending by Katara, for fire and for earth also, I think, and right there by Tenzin for air. She's an accomplished avatar for me. And that's what they're implying also at the end when she's giving back her bending to Lin. It's what Aang learned to do at the end of his journey, you know, to take it out. So I think that it was made for that, you know, for showing us, because it was supposed to be only for one season, that they closed everything, that they closed also Korra as an accomplished avatar. Is it gonna be the case into the next seasons? I don't know, because they need to create stories around these characters, but also for the avatar, because it's still the story of the avatar, you know, this show. So maybe they're gonna do things around the avatar state, the spirit, stuff like that. It could be interesting, you know, that it was something that I thought which was missing during Avatar The Last Airbender, the last season. I would have loved for Aang to go back into the spirit world, to talk with that monkey and all. It would have been great. So maybe I'm gonna have that during the next seasons of The Legend of Korra. Yes, I need to come back to Tarlok and Amon. Their stories were sad, awful and tragic until the end. Amon is coming back to his brother when he thought that he had lost everything, telling him, "Come with me, we can begin a new life." Tarlok didn't believe so. For himself and his brother, for only his brother, I don't know, but I think that Tarlok knew that it couldn't be possible, that one of them, if not the two of them, would have tried to have revenge or something like that. Maybe he thought that his brother was maybe more the one who could do that. And it's logical with their father, you know, they saw their father trying to have a new life, a normal family and all, and switching again. And Tarlok didn't want to do that, or his brother to do that to their kids or to people. It's awful when you think about it. It's so sad to kill himself with his brother like that. Amon, I don't know if he believed into what he was saying or not. You know, I thought that he didn't believe so, but at the same time we saw him crying after that, so maybe he truly believed into it. We can't know, and I think that we can't have the response about that. Never now. It was a good way for the writers, because this season was supposed to be the only one, to close that story for good and to give them a good death, you know, a good end for their stories, a logical one, and an end which is honorable for both of them. Do you understand what I mean? Until the end, and even with that end that maybe you can think which is unfair or which is easy. I don't think that you can think that, but even if you think that, you can agree with the fact that it was an honorable death for both of them by doing what they thought which was right and something which was really right, you know. They were going on the good direction. Oh, that's so sad and tragic, really. That's a beautiful story. This background, you know, this flashback during the last episode was already so great, so well written and all, but that end right there, it's a perfect conclusion for it. It would have been great, you know, if we would have kept them as enemies for the next seasons, and all. For how this season was written, it was not possible. If it would have been written in another way, maybe it would have been great to keep them as enemies, but it would have killed me a lot, because I can imagine possible conflicts, you know, between these two brothers, and because of their stories, how it was written, it would have killed me to see them against each other, I would have died, cried, maybe not in that order, because of that. It would have been even more tragic, even more sad, even... So yes, I don't know what we're gonna have during the 3 next seasons, because they are really leaving nothing for the character to do, to evolve. They are still teenagers, so they have a lot of stuff to learn about life and all, but for the story they closed really everything, so I really don't know what it can be. I'm gonna discover that, but not today. Really, today it was exhausting, fucking great, exciting, emotional. I was in tension, I cried, I was shocked, I learned a lot of things, I was right about some theories, I was wrong about other ones. I was glad to be wrong, because what they offered me instead was so much better. I loved everything. Naga saving them, saving all of them, Luna, Sami and all. That was so great. General Iroh, Commander Boomy! Oh, we saw just a little of him, but he was almost... You can't be as crazy than what Boomy was. You know, the original Boomy from Avatar. But he has this little craziness that I love. Good craziness, you can understand that. Oh, everything was so good, so perfect. For that, you know, even that, to show us Boomy just like that a little, it was so great. To show us General Iroh just like that a little, it was so great. Just a little? No, we had an entire moment in combat, you know, with him doing so many good things. Flying like that, yes, I thought of Azula. You know that I didn't give up on the girl, that I still have hope that she found peace at the end. Can it be possible that she taught her kids, Zuko's kids, how to fly like that? And they taught it to their kids? Do you think that Zuko met his grandkid? They implied that Zuko died, right? I'm not surprised by it. But did they... It was so great. I'm exhausted. And it's so great, you know, that I have 3 more seasons to discover. I cannot wait. It's all for you and for me for today, so it's all for me for now, so bye for now. Bye. I'm exhausted. My emotions are off. You know what? It's the end of the day. I'm gonna take a beer, okay? I'm gonna drink my beer just like that, thinking of Tarlok and Amon story, and I'm gonna drink my beer like that.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Hey.